All right, so we're going to go over what to call these black notes. How do we name them? And how do we know when we're saying the correct name? Okay, so we just learned that this note is A, this is B, C, D, you have E, F, G, and A. That is the entire musical alphabet in the natural keys. So now these black keys are your sharps and flats. These black keys are variations of these white keys. So this note right here, C, this black key above here is going to be called C sharp. And I'm going to turn this note namer off, or this chord name window off, so we don't get confused with the name, or at least how I'm explaining it. So this is C. And then we have this black note. We're going to call this C sharp. All right. Something is sharp when the pitch is higher, when it sounds higher than the original pitch. So let's say our original pitch that we're playing is C. If we play a black note right above C, that's C sharp. Okay. Let's go to D. This is D. If we play this black note right above D, it's a higher pitch. So we're going to call this D sharp. We can call that D sharp. E, there's no black note above it, so we won't use sharps or flats. But F, there's a black note right above F. So this is going to be F sharp right here. It's called F sharp. All right, let's go to G. Remember, G is in between the first two notes of the group of three. All right. G, if we make it sharp, it's going to be this note right here. This is G sharp. All right, hopefully this is making sense. So you have A, and then if you want A sharp, you just go to A and you go higher. You go up a pitch. So this is A sharp. And then you have your natural note, which we learned last lesson, is B. All right. So that's sharps. Now, at the same time, these sharps and flats can be called, these sharps can also be called flats. So let's, for example, this first one we learned this was C sharp. We learned that this is C sharp because it is going from this note right here, C, to C sharp. But if you start on D, you can also call this D flat, because now this note is going to sound lower than the original pitch. So D, this is D flat. So this can be called C sharp and D flat. All right. I'm going to go to this note. This can be called A sharp, because A, we can go from A and it can sound higher than A, or we can say, hey, this is B flat because it sounds lower than B. All right. So we have A sharp or B flat. We have, this can be called A flat because A, this is A. If we play this black note here, this note sounds lower than A. So we're going to call it A flat. It sounds flat. Like you have a low tire. The air is lower. The air pressure is lower. So you call the tire flat. All right. But this can also be called G sharp because from G, this note sounds higher. So G sharp, A flat. This can be F sharp or G flat. And now I'll turn my note chord name on. All right, Essie is saying F sharp. Now this is just F. Remember, these are your natural notes. They're not sharp or flat. All your white notes are not sharp or flat. They're just natural. So F, then you have E, but then you have this note. From E, what is this going to be called? E flat. There we go. All right. So from this note, D, what is this going to be called? D flat. There we go. Now, this chord speller on the screen, for some reason, I have to figure out what key it's in, but it's calling, instead of, when I go to G, I can call this G flat, but it's choosing F sharp. So that's why I turned it off, because I didn't want it to confuse you if I'm saying G flat, but the screen's saying F sharp. Anywho, we're going to play a game, go to the next lesson.